I'm in a real shit-stirring mood right now.
I can tell. I'm glad you're fucking happy.
Well, my headache's gone, and the monster's properly kicked in, so I'm in a real shit-stirring mood. So right when in the last episode, if you didn't see it, go back and watch it, because something right at the end of the episode that fucking hilarious happens. The connector's now has been unplugged, thrown across the room, and destroyed with a sledgehammer. Probably redact the last two things I said, but it's definitely unplugged.
I did think about it.
As I found it absolutely fucking hilarious, the man next to me playing this game right now did not find it as funny.
No, I did not.
Ever feel the need to rip off someone's own leg and shove it down their throat?
Or punch them in the face.
I mean,
I feel that all the time.
Well, you don't look like it, so at least you got that look going for you.
That I don't look like I want to do that, or that I don't look like that?
Yes. I mean, a little from column A, a little from column B, and maybe a slight sprinkling of column C.
Column E.
Don't forget about that hepatitis B. Do you have enough? You need that for health? Because you remember you can only use it once.
Yep.
Cool beans. Cool Leos. So I've got a question for you. I'm going to throw this out to the room, which means you can speak for a second. Those little red things. And you usually boil them and you put a fuck ton of sauce on them. What are they called?
Cocktail Frankfurts or
Yep.
little boys?
Alright.
Yeah.
Cool. So from what thank you, Matthew. Matthew Curtin, everybody. Welcome him to the room.
Okay.
He said cocktail Frankfurts or little boys as well.
Yeah.
So I found out in Queensland they call them Cheerios.
Which is a breakfast cereal.
Which is a breakfast cereal, right?
In America, yeah.
We get them here in Australia too.
Yeah. I haven't eaten them.
No, they taste like shite. They don't really have... You know how like a lot of good cereals taste like sugar?
Yeah.
And just purely sugar? These kind of don't. They're a bit more healthier. Think of them, they look like Fruit Loops without the Fruit Loop flavour.
Oh, that sounds disgusting.
You know when Fruit Loops have been sitting in milk too long and they're soggy?
Yep.
That's pretty much what Cheerios happen like as soon as milk hits them. So, they're not great. But cocktail Frankfurts, or little boys as they like to be called for some bizarre reason, which is something I've never understood.
Because they look like little boys.
I've only heard about them as...
Okay. Maybe Victoria's the fucked up one then. If you didn't hear that in the background, Mr. Matthew Curtin, the one that has apparently lived in New South Wales most of his life. Fucking New South Welshman. Which I shouldn't say too loud because I am born one.
You might hear yourself and be insulted.
Yeah. I've got a question for you. I'm going to throw... I'm not throwing this one out to the room. This is to you specifically. If you could go back in time to your 13-year-old self, would you kick your own ass?
No, I'd probably just tell myself that I need to not do a few things and do a few different things.
No, I would kick my own ass. I reckon I'd kick my own ass.
My 13-year-old self wasn't as bad as most 13-year-old.
No, I was just more thinking of the whiny stages. You know everyone that goes through those whiny stages when you're a kid.
I suppose, yeah. I see where you're coming from.
I could imagine like this. Like I get the DeLorean for a day, and I get that motherfucker up to 88 miles per hour, which is impossible for a DeLorean because apparently they can't get anything above 30 or 40. And I'm able to go back to say what's 2005. I would have been 13.
Yeah.
Something like that. No,
I'll
I'm 25 now. It's 2016. You take... What am I, 25? So you take 12 off 2016, so 2004.
Yep.
Yep. I'd go back as my 25-year-old self and kick the shit out of my 15-year-old self.
Just because you could?
Oh, wait, no. 13-year-old self. No, just because I knew back then I was such a whiny little bitch. I shouldn't say it like that. I deserve to get my ass kicked. Let's just say that.
Okay.
But would it be interesting to do that?
To go back in time?
Yeah, and just...
What would happen, though? Like, you'd see yourself?
Well, that's the thing. There's two different theories when it's gone back in life. You've got your butterfly effect theory, whereas if you go back in time and you fuck something up, it changes the multiverse, etc., etc. And then there's also a theory that you go back and you fucked up, but because the past is already set in stone, it can't be changed. So no matter what you do there, eventually the time would right itself.
Yep.
So it's depending on what theory you want to go on by. I myself personally like the multiverse theory. Like it's a good like what happens if say like this thing doesn't ever happen. So that person is say like someone dies.
Yep.
And then you go throughout your whole life that person dying. You go back, prevent that death. Does the universe itself try to kill that person continuously like the Final Destination thing? Which is where I'm getting this. Or does someone else die in that person's place? Or no one dies at all? It's just a nice theory I like to think about. The idea of time travel is weird because people say if time travel was real and we already discovered it in the future, we would know about it now because someone would have gone back to the past and gone, all right, work on time travel because this is going to work. Because you realize with time travel, there's an infinite loop. There's an infinite loop of time travel.
Sorry, I was...
No, that's all right. I'm just talking.
Figuring
I don't
out
care.
the room.
So with time travel, it's an infinite loop. You go back in time, and that person might hand someone this thing. They go forward in time, and then they hand that... You know, it just keeps happening over and over again.
Yep.
Because then time will go forward, and that person will go back in time and hand that person that thing. And it just keeps happening. Over and over again. It'll never ever stop. Which is an interesting thing to think about. Because if you go back in time and then stop that person, then what happens?
Well...
Then time changes.
Yeah.
But then, you know, they go back in time and then that infinite loop of that person stopping keeps happening.
Yeah.
So, I just like time travel.
Do you also think that time travel is possible?
No.
Like, do you think it's impossible or do you think it's just not possible yet?
It's a good question. If there is a possibility of it happening out there, it's very, 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 very unlikely. I'd say improbable. But the idea of it being impossible, maybe not. Well, we go back in time, or we go forward in time every... How many years? When time skips a second?
Well, that's not really time.
It's you're going through time. There's a moment where you I'm not talking about daylight savings. There's a moment where 2 or 3 seconds go missing in the world. It skips a few seconds.
No, but seconds is a man-made thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're right. Time's irrelevant. You are correct in saying that.
yeah, so that. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if I'm right in saying that. Then, it's just a theory I heard or something that was said where I don't know. Well, because we say time goes one full rotation of the world
Is
365 days.
Yep.
Or
Earth orbiting the sun.
Yep. Which is what we consider as time.
Yeah.
So, on the leap year, when we go 366 days.
Well, see, because a year is 365 days and a quarter,
Yeah. But leap years, that's when we get that extra day.
which fills in that quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's a moment too where time skips forward a few seconds. Are you aware of this
No.
phenomenon? I can't remember what it's called.
It's called the time skip phenomenon. I like that word, phenomenon. Phenomenon. Da 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 da. Phenomenon. No. And the one that sings that song? No worries. I'll just sing it. Yeah. That's cool. Phenomenon. Da 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 da. Phenomenon. Da. Fuck off, you fucking.
I can't find it. Every time I'm searching it up on Google and it says time skip, and I look through it, it's like iTunes time skip.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I think that's a feature, isn't it? Of iTunes?
3 seconds.
Wouldn't that be funny if the whole time you'd just been looking up iTunes time skip and somehow thought it was a feature of the world?
Well, that's a little bit morbid. I'm trying to look up seconds going missing, and does a US child go missing every 90 seconds?
Wow.
It's fucking a little thing. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, but I feel as if I've been told that before. If anyone does
children
know
go
if I'm
missing.
right and wrong, put it in the comment section, because I'd literally like to know. I was actually... what are we up to?
4?
Okay, cool. I was talking to someone recently that's actually really much younger than me. And they were talking about history science.
History science.
Well, you know, the history.
Yep.
And he was just like, it's strange that I like history so much. And I just don't go, no, it's not, because I enjoy history. And I feel that the older that I get, the more I enjoy those things.
Yep.
Back when I was his age, I didn't really appreciate it as much. That and science. Science is something I love now.
Yep.
Having things explained to me in a scientific way gives me goosebumps. Like how formulaic things make up a certain thing, or, how carbon-based life forms are the majority of the world, but there's no such thing as silicon life forms. And the reason why people say that is because it's one chart down. Like where the carbon is on the periodic table, silicon's right below it.
Yep.
So things can be made in the silicon, but it's not a life form. But the idea of it being out there is like why people say aliens could be silicon-based life forms, which would be the reason why they're more advanced than us.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Did you also hear that apparently there's some new periodic elements?
Oh, do they make some new ones?
Yeah.
Or are they man-made or are they man-found?
They're man-made, so
Okay.
they've been... that would be in the bottom corner?
Yeah, bottom corner.
Because that's all man-made elements?
Yeah, that's correct.
Some Asians made some new elements. No
Are they
surprise there.
unstable?
I don't think they are stable.
Yeah.
I think there's one chemical where it's that unstable that it explodes if you try to move it. It explodes if you try to touch it. It explodes if you try to...
Is it a big explosion, or is it like one of those sort of things that just goes...
well, it depends. I would assume it depends on the density of the...
Of the yeah.
and the amount of the product. But apparently, it's so dangerous that it, even just not doing anything with it, will cause it to explode.
So basically, I think their idea behind that is making a weapon.
Possibly, yeah.
It's a bit dangerous.
Isn't that the whole point of
Most man-made elements?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are correct. But in saying that too, non-man-made elements such as uranium and plutonium are used for bombs, so...
0, 2.
Yeah, that is true.
So that's, just one of those things where it's... People can turn anything into a weapon, I guess. Carbon-based knives.
Carbon-based? No.
Well, carbon knives, they've got carbon... Carbon's is a metal, isn't it? Carbon's metal? Can be metal?
I don't know.
Let me look at the formula for carbon. Or was it carbon fiber?
Oh, carbon fiber's a metal. It's very, very light. Alloy, I believe. Gee, is gonna make shit explode.
Carbon is one of the ones that can be set on fire too, isn't it?
Don't know.
Because isn't carbon one of those things that you burn for energy? Which is why we're based on it, because we burn through energy of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like everything that you eat's got carbon in it, and that burns, that creates energy.
Yeah, yep.
Cool. At least some of that things from my schooling doesn't go to school, kids, because you do learn a few different little things. But for the moment, after you killed these anemones, I'm going to end the episode. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.
Like and comment, and always stop the meltdown.
Yeah, and eat carbon. Not pure carbon, but just eat stuff with carbon in it, I guess. I could be wrong, too. That wouldn't be the first time. This whole episode could be full of scientific blunders. How's that for a name of the episode? Scientific blunder.
And eat bananas.
That's potassium. Don't eat too much potassium, though, because it can become poison. Bye.
Boy.
Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
If you can actually overdose from potassium.
Yep. Why you don't eat any more than 6
Which is why sometimes I think I've got a potassium intolerance, because anytime I eat a banana, I throw up.
It's not a terrible thing.